Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Sunday. Welcome back to Generation X Nation. I'm going to do a really quick review of the Love and Marriage Huntsville, the show that keeps on giving, you can't get away from. I guess I'm addicted to toxicity or something, but this show just does something to me, but it kind of keeps you engaged for sure. As I always said before, I have been a fan since season one, and I have continued to watch the show. Everything on my station here at Generation X is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to try to make this quick, but my commentary today is going to be geared a little bit toward Martell, and I'm kind of give you a little bit church. I think he just needs a little bit Jesus in him because Martell is really out of control. I'm gonna recap some stuff real quick. Again, I am Gen X Nation. We're a nation that grew up on streetlights and water holes. We have a different view of the world. People think that we're just out here living our best lives and forgot about the rest of the world, living quietly. But we out here. We do get good advice. Sometimes it's stern advice, but we do get good advice. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with the first topic I'm going to discuss is, of course, everybody's talking about it in internet streets, the the scene in the park. I'm not going to go over everything that has been said because I believe a lot of people has already covered it. But Martell was very, very disrespectful respectful to Marceau, talking about his wife that way. That was really uncalled for. And as much as I feel like the Scots may or may not have some things that they're hiding from the public or from the show. I don't. I just kind of felt like he literally went too low on that one. He didn't have to talk about Tisha. And I've told y'all before in my previous videos, I don't have a dog in this fight. I love Tisha and Marceau. I am a big fan of Melody. I like the Fleshers. I don't dislike anybody really on the show. I judge everything by what I see on the screen. I don't know them personally. So please don't come to me all these comments about what about, what about. I don't know these people. So I don't take it that seriously. So when I give my commentary, it's based on what I seen in that episode. That particular episode, Martell was out of order. Period. He was out of order. He was out of line, and he was outright disrespectful. He basically called Tisha a thought in front of everybody. That's what he said. We can go into the comments about he's seen people do this and seen people do that and he could have done it. Don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You should never do that to another man's wife in front of, especially in front of all those people. Tisha has been taken a lot, and I will give her the benefit of doubt right now and say that I'm very proud of her that she didn't go off like she should have, because if that would have been me, I would have cussed Martell raggedy ass out. Excuse me, I forgot to tell y'all I am a cussing Christian. I would have cussed his behind out, and I'd have got all up in his behind about that bird that he left his wife for. They had plenty of opportunities to eat him up on blowing his whole life in his marriage over that bird that he got over there. But I will give him credit for taking the high road and not going that deep, because he did go deep on them. Marceau, I'm going to give you some credit. I appreciate the fact that you didn't stoop to his level, but you should have, and nobody would have cared. But you did not stoop to his level and get your foot all up in Martell's behind, because he deserved that. He would have deserved everything you dished at him and more. I don't know why Maurice and Kimmy just sat there. I think Kimmy did make a comment here and there. Maurice just kind of sat there, didn't say much until the end. He did walk up to him and say a few things. Um, the rest of the people, I think, was a little shocked. Destiny, um, you pretty much started that whole thing, and I'm gonna get on Destiny later on. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is Kimmy. When Kimmy was sitting there with Mel, like I said, I'm trying to make this quick. When Kimmy was sitting there with Mel and discussing the whole DWI thing, it's nothing to be ashamed of, Kimmy. People get those every day. It happens. Reality TV, celebrities, rappers, actresses. It happens. Governors, senators. They just had some Republican governor somewhere that got a DWI, and not governor, a Republican senator or some lawmaker, and he urinated on himself while he was getting the test done. So it's no big thing, Kimmy. I know you guys want to have this persona of being perfect, but you're not. And it's okay if Maurice got a DWI. Just Get your lawyer, walk through it. You know, he's never having doesn't have really big criminal record. He should be okay. The only question people had is, why was your husband out so late at night? Did he get arrested in the morning? Did he get arrested at night? They posted at a certain time. I know sometimes people, the cops will take people in and let them sleep it out in a drunk tank, and then maybe they processed them that morning. That's why it showed a certain time on there. We don't know. And really, we don't care. Y'all making this storyline. We're not. We're really not. The only thing is, I will say in that conversation is we're noticing Melanie is clocking in and she's producing, and you guys are getting mad, but she's asking the hard questions. And I'll get to that too about why Melanie's doing certain things and why the audience is glad she's doing it. And they feel like Melanie is finally stepping up and she's getting her moments and she's in here asking the questions. She's clocked in, as they say in the reality world. Um, Tisha, again, Melanie sat down with you, asked you some questions. Once again, you guys, like you always do, Tisha, you got up, exit stage left, avoided answering, did the best you could. But I like you and Melanie's back and forth. It doesn't seem harmful to me. It seems like when she asks Kimmy stuff, Kimmy has some kind of sarcastic way of responding back to her and kind of act like she doesn't care for her too much. But you and Melody seem to me have a little different friendship. That's why I say I still think you're somewhat a friend of Melody's. But you know, sometimes she piss you off, sometimes you piss her off. But I think y'all friendship could really, really, really grow and get back to where it somewhat used to be. One, because you guys have daughters and kids who like to play together and stuff, and I know in the past they used to play together. So try to get that back going. I didn't see anything wrong with the conversation, but you know, we know Tisha. Tisha gonna get up and run when the hard questions come. She's always done that, so that's no big thing to me. Trisha, you know when old folks say you lying, the truth ain't in you. You are the perfect example of that. I don't know who told you how to work this reality world, but you came in the door lying or holding back information or just not coming off as very truthful. So it's so hard for us to believe anything you say going forward. I feel that you could have been a great presence on the show, you and Ken, if y'all had entered the show correctly. Um, have there been people in entanglements on the show, married, divorced, separated? It happens on every reality show. That wasn't a big issue. The issue is you continue to not be truthful. And when you're on reality TV, you have to live in your reality. And this is why some of the people on the show get some of the feedback they get because they don't feel that they're actually living in their reality. It's like they're trying to, create this persona. Again, this is just what we see based on what you give us on the screen and how they edit it, and it comes back to us. Everything I say is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Now, what I noticed about you is you and Ken could elevate your fitness journey and actually became a very, very you could have leveled up and grew your business off of that show on fitness alone. The fitness industry in this country is, I don't know how many billions of dollars people spend on plastic surgery, gym memberships, personal training, supplements, what do they call it? Food prep. You could have marketed that because you have the body. Now, I'm assuming it's real. I'm not going to assume you had any type of surgeries, whatever. You say you work out, and we're going to take your word for it till somebody prove me otherwise. Ken, muscle, big chest, whatever. In my opinion, you two, if y'all have came on there honestly, if you'd have walked in there and said, hey, you know, you didn't, I'm married, but I've been separated from my husband for a blasé amount of years. He decided to take some time off. I met this guy during that process. We fell in love. We are now together. If you'd have just laid that out, people would have been like, oh, she married but got a boyfriend. But we would have accepted and kept moving. And then when Marquez came into the fold, we'd already had the ideal of why he was dead, why he was gone. And then he wouldn't have came in and made you look like a liar because you had already told your truth. That's one. Two, when the male sat down at a table and questioned you, based on the few episodes we seen you on, you wasn't telling her the truth. All you had to do was when you were in that store and she invited you out to the Jamaica trip, the girls' trip. You should have said, "Hey, by the way, this is what happened," and explained the whole situation with you and Martell. So when y'all got to Jamaica and the other ladies would have tried to throw that on the table and throw it up against Mel and Stick, y'all both could have looked at her and them and said, "Oh, we already discussed that before we came over here and she's well aware what happened." That would have silenced everybody. You should have just had that conversation. But it also would have got you good in with the fans. And the reason I say that is because had you came on and told the truth about your relationship with your ex-husband, had you told the truth to Mel prior to the trip, people would have liked you more. You and Ken could have got you a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel, or Instagram, whatever together as, the fitness husband and wife crew. There's a lot of them out there. Y'all could have, had a daily routine in the morning, just a couple of hints for people. Y'all could have did shows making your healthy food, showing people what to eat. You could have logged on and did a TikTok or YouTube, 20 or 30 minutes in the morning cooking an easy meal. The next time you did a YouTube, here's some exercise for the day to work on with your stomach. You could have did all of that and build you a great following because people would have liked you because your products speak for itself. You guys are physically fit. You should have showed yourself in the gym training people around Huntsville. Then you could have drew people into you guys. Then you could have created your social media challenges. Then you could have created your social media channels. And then you could have been like a daily thing or a weekly thing. And then y'all could have talked about everything else in between. The show a little bit, the kids, what's going on in your lives, how your relationship is going, planning your wedding, your engagement. I think you guys are a great couple. I think you really love Ken. I know Ken loves you. And it would have turned out so much better had you led with the truth. That's why people say, just, why lie when the truth is always better? When your parents used to tell you, "Did you break that? Did you break that?" And you say, "No, I didn't break it." And they find out you did and whip your behind. Had you just said, "Yeah, I broke it. It was an accident," you might not have got the whooping. Lead with the truth. It never hurts. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Destiny before I get into Martell, because again, I got to take him to church, and then I'm gonna close this out because I'm gonna make this quick. A lot of people have already talked about this, posted videos. I'm just giving a Gen X review on what my generation and how my generation would have handled it. Again, I am a little older and I see things differently. I know this younger generation likes to pop off, or whoop some behind, and there's times where Gen X will whoop some behind too. But what we do is we try to think logically because we are critical thinkers. Moving on. Destiny, first of all, you've been on this show how many freaking seasons? And your biggest accomplishment is getting a storage locker to work out of. Just the thought of that makes me laugh. Again, I'm just not a fan of Destiny. I don't hate her because I don't know her, but she just moves differently. As a female, as a woman, as a grown woman, you can tell a snake, and especially a fake woman when you see one, and I ain't gonna call it a B word, but you can tell a snake a mile away, and that's what she is. And she has done nothing but that since she's been on this show. Okay, she is trying her best to save her spot for next year. So she wants to be the bone carrier. She wants to be the crap starter. I almost said the word. She wants to be the crap starter. She wants to keep herself relevant. Because remember, her and Martell have no storyline without Melanie. Why do you think Martell out there in that park going off, trying to create some drama? That's all he got left. But we'll get into that. Back to Destiny. Destiny has no storyline. With Sonny out of the way, her ex-husband ain't dealing with her. Mel done shut her off. Who's left? Stormy's gone. So all she can do now is keep up a mess. Okay? And I guarantee you tomorrow when she does, and I promise you I've never watched a mental Monday, whatever that stuff she does. But I see it on YouTube, people talking about it. So I'll click on I'll click on the video in the heartbeat and look and listen. Like, oh, she said that. Oh, she said that. She needs to change Mental Mondays to Melanie Mondays. That's what she needs to change it to. Because that's all she talks about. Once again, if Melanie's the source of your mental health issues, something's wrong with you. Because you should not be that focused on one person. Get you a life. Back to the storage locker. You have been on this show off and on. It's been on 9 seasons, and you were on pretty, you started on the beginning, took a break, and you're back. And all you've accomplished in 9 seasons with your speaking engagements and back and forth to Atlanta and hanging with this person and hanging with that person and doing a podcast, and you still ain't made enough to get you a brick and mortar building or at least a home office. You are literally working in a storage unit. Melody ships out thousands of shipments a day right out of her garage or her home office, wherever. And you in a storage unit? You don't even have room in your garage? You can have a home office, just make a little office at your house, store your stuff in a garage or a basement or an attic and ship it as it go. You in a storage unit. That doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. And I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend and say, oh, that's great. No, it's not. No, it's not. They have uh, locations in most major cities where they call like community spaces where you can just go rent a little office space for the day, get your work done, and move on. You can't find something like that to do your little off brand stuff in for a day? You're in a storage unit. That's all needs to be said. However, Destiny started the mess. She knew what was going to happen. And for her to sit there and let Tisha take that bullet like that and didn't stop it or say something. And she tried, it looks like maybe. But I've been saying it for the longest. Tisha, Destiny ain't your friend. Kimmy, Destiny ain't your friend. Destiny has no friends. Destiny is an opportunist who looks for her next opportunity. And right now, her opportunity is let me stay close to Martell because he is going to be on his show for for a little while based on his relationships with other people. So I'm going to stay in his behind because you ain't in a relationship. Okay, I know you stormed off with Nell's son, but I don't believe that. I believe you're doing that to stay relevant, to say you at least got a relationship going. Nothing's going to come of that. We all know that. Um, and while they was in the park talking about, Letitia being passed around, it looks more like Destiny being passed around because that's what the third or fourth guy that you done dated or not dated. And allegedly, we still don't know for sure if you and Martell had anything going on, allegedly, in my opinion. However, now you with Nell's son. And you're sitting here talking about Tisha being passed around. We literally watched Destiny be passed around. And that's just the ones we've seen. That ain't counting the ones we haven't seen on camera or that she hasn't discussed. So, whatever. Destiny, get it together. You and Martell are going to be the downfall of this show if y'all don't stop. I'm not the biggest fans of all of the Scotts. I am a big fan of Letitia and Marceau and Melody. Those are probably my three favorites. I don't even hate Martell. I just think Martell needs some real talking to, and he's never going to come to that. But I will talk about where I feel Martell is. Um, the Nell Fletcher and Chris Fletcher, they seem like, and their son seemed like they was in total shock. Like, oh my God, they couldn't believe what was happening. And I can guarantee you, if he was saying that about Nell, Fletcher probably would have punched him in the face. Like I said, Marceau, I give you all the props in the world for standing there and taking that. You replied back, but you held a lot of restraint by not punching Martell because any other person probably would have got up and it would have been on and popping the minute he starts saying that about your wife. But I think you guys generally love each other, and I think you guys support each other. At the end of the day, Marceau, Martell is jealous. He's jealous that you and Letitia are still together. Even if Letitia was living her best life in college, it's her right to do so. When she met you, she stopped. And as him saying you were the bottom of the barrel, that's okay. Sometimes shit flows to the top. Now, you at the top. Everybody changes. People do things to better themselves, whether you lost the weight or, did some things, exercise or not. I don't see nothing, don't look like ugly, whether he's big or not, extra pounds of you or not. You're not an unattractive guy. So that's BS, And I always felt like, yeah, you did help Tisha upgrade a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think, as I always said, you are down for your wife. You're going to support your wife. And you're going to allow her to be the person that she wants to be at some point. Because you do kind of, but I think it's more of You hover over a little bit. I think it's more of a protective mode. You are a protector and you make sure nothing happens to her. Martell, you never protected your wife because you can protect her from that bird you with. And I don't know why I keep calling that girl a bird. I need to stop and call her by name, but you don't protect her from there. And this in this episode, I'm gonna call her a bird because I'm just not that thrilled with Martell's behavior. Again, everything I say is alleged in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Um, and I'm gonna finish up with Martell, and I this one has been a very calm commentary for me because I found all of it to be very entertaining and sad at the same time. And from what I can see, I know everybody looked at it like, oh, it's a wild fight. Marceau doing this. They telling all the lies. You know, Wanda came out. Somebody said, I don't know, had her uh, 2 cents or whatever. I just see Martell as a broken man. He is broken. And Martell has too much pride. And he's too arrogant to admit that. He know he made the wrong choice. He know he made the biggest mistake of his life. I mean, your ex-wife's net worth is probably close to $3 million and rising. And you have, I'm not saying you don't have nothing because I don't know you, but you don't seem to measure up to what she has. And that's the problem. Because you could be on the same train with her, traveling the world, enjoying this beautiful life that she's building. That was supposed to be you. But you gave it up for a bird. In Marceau's word, a shareable girl. Because as I said before, if they were cheating, they made sure they didn't cross the line, didn't fall in love, and them chicks knew their place. And to this day, ain't none of them spoke up. Even if you have a text message with him with another girl, that girl ain't came forth yet. And she probably not coming forth. Because what they did is make sure they checked their women or extracurricular activity if allegedly it did happen. They made sure that none of them heifers showed up to disrespect their wife, the mother of their children. Because that's who you put on the pedestal. That's who you protect. That's who you provide for. That's who you show love. You make sure your family is protected. You didn't protect your family. You let this girl come into and infiltrate your family. You had children there. And you didn't protect them either. And then you bring them around the bird. I believe he's a broken man. And what he needs to realize is God can't do anything with him. Okay, and I heard a pastor say this: God can't do anything with you because you're broken from your head to your toe. And until Martell realizes and looks in the mirror and realizes that he's the problem in the room, the person that's looking back at him in the mirror, and he humbles and shows just a little humility, humbles himself and admit his wrongdoing, not to us, but first to God. If he has to get on his knees in the middle of the night or in a church or whatever, or just talk to a pastor and literally get on his knees behind closed doors, nobody has to ever see it, and admit his wrongdoing to God and tell him he's broken, he needs him to help him fix it. When he get up and finish praying and being prayed over, when he get up, he'll come up new and God will start guiding his steps and he will end up in the right place. But until he does that, he's still going to be where he at. He's still going to be where he's at. He's not understanding that. You know what I'm saying? He's too prideful. He's too arrogant. And when you're so prideful and arrogant like that, you're fighting against what God really has out for you. Maybe that marriage to Melanie was a testimony and a message for you. You know, God says there's always a message in the mess. So the mess that you created with your marriage could be a testimony and a message going forward for the next person. You know, you could end up being able to use the way you messed your marriage up and lost your family. You may be able to use that message to the next person that you know that's doing the same thing and heading down that same road. But you're never going to be able to get there. You may be able to talk to young men in prison or in jail or counsel young men on, family relationships. Hey, do not do this. I did this and this is what happened. I'm telling you, you may be able to do all of that because you lived it and you made the mistakes. But the first thing you have to do is recover from it. And the only way you're going to recover from it is you got to admit it out loud. You don't have to admit it to us, the audience. You don't have to admit it to your friends, but you have to admit it to God. And I'm going to tell you the reason you got as far as you got in life. Because one thing I do know as a Gen X person who grew up in church and went to Bible study and revivals in the summer, children's summer camp and all that. One thing I do know for sure is your wife is a God-fearing woman. Everything's your ex-wife, my bad. Melly Cherie is a God-fearing woman, and her mother prays over her too. And I can tell that because God is in everything that she does. And you might not have been the person up in church with her every day, praying with her all the time. But I guarantee you, as long as she was in that church and every night praying for God and her family, to protect her husband, protect her children, God was covering you because your wife was praying for you. See, God will cover your spouse. Your husband be sitting at home watching a football game and you in church. But as long as you praying for him out of that grace, for you praying for him, God will give that man grace and mercy because his wife in here praying for him. And God will give you grace based on your wife's faithfulness to the Lord. So all of that you benefit from being with Melanie was because Melanie was a praying woman who believed in God and knew God was the center of everything. You see, and that's why you was able to thrive the way you did under her. But when you walked away or left or however it happened, that grace and mercy that she covered you with every day is gone. Because Bird Lady ain't, you think Bird Lady praying for you? I can tell you the bird ain't praying for you. Because how is she praying for that mess? She's an adulterer. You praying. And I ain't saying people that commit adultery don't pray. But what I'm saying is you guys left a mess that was ungodly. And you think God is going to reward you. No. You have to confess your sins. We all know that. And I'm saying, Martell, on this Sunday, you need to confess up to some things and stop this madness. Stop being mad at the Scotts because they're still together. The Fletchers are still together. Stop being mad at people whose wives and husbands and families are still intact. And yours is not. I don't care if they cheated or not. Whatever they did, they got over it. They prayed about it, and God continues to bless their union. You didn't do that. You got arrogant. You got too much pride to admit you was wrong, and you think you smarter than everybody. Well, smart ain't got you nowhere. Smart got you in the park with a bucket hat on, telling some other guy his wife's a thought. And you 40 years old. Really? 40 years old. And then Destiny over there, well, knowing she started it. And then she's walking off with somebody's son who's younger than her. But see, everything Martell just did in that park, for all the people on that cast, this is what Melanie was telling you the real Martell is. See, will the real Martell stand up? That's the title of this video. That person y'all seen in the park is the real Martell. That's the one Melanie was telling y'all about all this time that she was going through that divorce process and telling y'all Martell this, Martell that. But Martell had y'all ear, and I can understand why, because y'all met Melanie through Martell, so you knew Martell first. So yes, you're going to believe your friend until you actually start seeing him unravel, until you actually start seeing, damn, something may be wrong with him. So you don't know what went on in that household, allegedly, when y'all wasn't around. If he snapped at y'all with the cameras rolling at the park, imagine what he was saying in that house with Melanie when no cameras was rolling. Imagine that. So think about that. So in that time frame, when she was going through this and you could see the sadness in her, she was down. She had to, dissolve her companies. He stole her money. She had to start over from scratch because of this man. And then on top of that, the bird had a baby, bragging about it, posting pictures, doing TikToks and Instagram. Come here, Holt, calling him the last name just to be funny, talking about Martell, posting pictures of them shopping and all this stuff. That lady had to endure that. She had to endure a reunion where a guy had to mitigate the gall to ask her, do she not remember a penis, Penis. Like, who would do that to a person? She sat there gracefully and took it all in. Somebody's mother came out on the reunion stage, went off on her. She sat there and took that in. Facebook pages, Instagram, with all kind of nasty stuff about how they hate her. Sat there and took all of that. Nobody was supporting her. I seen that last reunion. She was there by herself, literally. Nobody was helping her. Nobody was on her side. Everybody had something to say. So when a group of strangers who don't know her but are fans of the show are watching this, of course people had empathy for her. Like, Jesus Christ. I done watched a lot of reality TV shows, but I ain't never seen nobody on the island by themselves like this. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And they gathered together and said, we gon', you know what, we gonna support this lady. So the little ventures she started doing, selling t-shirts, as y'all like to say, people bought them. Sweatshirts, people bought them. Got into her cosmetic lines, people bought them. And now her country's building. Now everybody got something to say. Now want to try to get on her good side, but she's done with y'all. Because the true testament of a friend, of friends, quote unquote, is who's around you when you're down and you don't have anything. Who's around you when you're at your worst. Who's still supporting you when you're at your worst? Who's down? Y'all was laughing, kikiing, hanging out with Martell, going to the club, hanging out at Black, this and that. I ain't knocking y'all. I'm just saying what we seen on video, which y'all post on Instagram. Having pastor parties, everything. Mel wasn't included in none of that. Everybody thinks she's over there suffering because, I don't know, were you jealous of her? There was just something about Mel y'all never really liked. And y'all clinged to Martell, invited him to everything. Y'all laughing at her over there having her name changing ceremony. She was rebuilding herself, and she was being reborn and rebirthed as a new person. Y'all didn't get it. But as critical thinkers, we got it. Like, she's starting out new. That's really nice. And she has been elevating ever since. To the point when you had an event, oh, hey, can you come speak at our event? And y'all got mad because she told y'all no. But when she was going through what she was going through, y'all was making it a joke. Somebody was talking, oh, your man bought his girlfriend a Mercedes. He was paying for it. Oh, he's over here doing this. Ooh, look at Martell's mugshot. Free Martell. I didn't even forget all of that. I remember seeing it all. And she was steady telling y'all Martell's full of crap. Martell's a liar. Don't believe it. But y'all took his side. And I understand why. Because he was your friend. Or at least that's what you thought. And he was showing y'all what he wanted y'all to see. His representative. He wasn't showing you the true person. She knew who the true person was behind closed doors because she was married to him for 14 years and had 3, 4 of his kids. And she was trying to tell y'all that's not the real him. He's faking it. Y'all didn't believe it. Which means Martell was a good actor. But now he no longer has her around to harass because she doesn't deal with him. And she has moved on. And now he's angry and upset because he can't get past the first base because everything he touches keeps spoiling and falling apart. So he's angry inside. So now he's taking it out on who? You guys. So now that his marriage is destroyed, he wants to destroy y'all marriage. And that's what he's doing. And I always said, and I said on 1,000,001 every video I almost posted, you can't find happiness making other people miserable. Martell, you gonna have to go on down there to the church house. I don't know if you belong to a church or not. Have a private conversation with your pastor. Leave that bird at home. And tell him everything you've done. Don't hold nothing back. And you need to get that man to pray for you. And you need to get that man to help you rebuild yourself spiritually. Once you get that done, you need to go on down there and find you a therapist. I don't care if you got to get one in the next town over an hour away that nobody even know that you're seeing because you don't want people to know who you are. That's great. Find you somebody the next town away, an hour away, 45 minutes from where you live at. Go sit down with that person. Let them know what's going on in your life. Tell them who you are for real. Tell them to watch the show so he can see some of the things you do. But you need to get therapy and not that middle Monday crap, Destiny doing. Because I don't know who that therapist is from what I hear. Again, I haven't watched one of those episodes because I just don't have time to watch all that crap. But you need to go down there. And you need to talk to somebody who don't have anything to do with the show, reality TV, no YouTube channels, none of that. Just an old dude who's been doing it for 20, 25 years, who's counseled a couple 100,000 couples and marriages, and just sit down and talk to him. And nobody even have to know that you're in therapy. Do it by yourself. Everything ain't for everybody, and you don't have to blast your whole life on social media like people like to do. Because social media is not therapy. Social media, I don't know why people do it, but it's not therapy. So go on down there to the church house. Get right with God first. Nobody got to know you there. Do it for yourself. You ain't got to scream to the world. Just do it silently and then start moving differently. And if you love Ariane, I'm going to call her Ariane this time. If you really love her and you want to build a life with her, then she needs to eventually go down to the church house, get her forgiveness on. She needs to maybe write a letter or do a public apology to Mel for what she did for destroying the family. She can't rebuild it. She can't take it back. But the least you can do is apologize. And then she needs to find her a therapist a couple hours away that she can see through video or drive down there, tell them the story, and get her life together. Get right with God first. And if y'all two do that, y'all may have an abundance of life, an abundant life. But until you do that, people are going to always look at you as two of the dumbest people in Huntsville, the Scarlet, the Bird, Coleslaw, the home wrecker, all of that. And they're going to look at you as, how'd you blow that bag, man? Are you stupid? You gave her that beautiful woman for this? That's what you're going to forever be. You literally are a broken man. And I hope you get it fixed. Because I root for everybody. I want everybody to win. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. All of this is in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only, and it is alleged. But this is what I see when I watch you on the screen. And I know the shows are edited, and I know they project a certain personality for every character on the show. So there may be some things that I didn't see and they don't want me to see. But from what I'm seeing, you got to get it together. And I'm saying this out of plea. I'm just trying to take you to church and let you know that spiritually, if you don't get it together, you're never going to be able to get it together mentally. And you're going to continue these outbursts. Because I even see the next week's show where you're still denying and won't apologize, but you got to stop. Humility is beautiful. It really is. Having just a little bit of humility goes a long way in this world. It's okay to humble yourself. It's okay to say, I'm sorry. It's okay to say thank you and please. We don't do enough of that anymore. My generation, somebody gave you anything, is thank you, please. No, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. That's how I grew up. Just some basic courtesies take you a long way. But the church, and I know there's a lot of crooked churches out here. I ain't telling you go on there and give everybody your money on it. I'm saying find your home church, old school on the hill, bedrock, gospel, Baptist church with 50 members, whatever it takes. You don't have to go to one of these mega preachers like Jamal Brown or TJ. Just find your good down home pastor and just have a real conversation with him and tell him what he do. And I can guarantee you, you will feel so much better. So much better. Believe me, my generation, we was out there in the streets. We did crazy stuff. Now, nothing is crazy, some of the stuff we see y'all doing. But at some point, we walked up in the church house and said, you know what? Probably got more years behind me than I do ahead of me. It's time to get it right. And when we got start doing that, life and doors just open up for us. And we start feeling so much better. That's why we don't stress. That's why people say we're the forgotten generation. Oh, what are y'all doing? Y'all hiding out. We don't stress because we get it. We're at the age we get it, but we knew what it took to get here. And the first thing we had to do was spiritually get ourselves right. And after that, we understood emotionally, financially, all of that. That's where you need to start, Martell. With that being said, I'm going to close down the church house today. Y'all ain't got to send me no tithes and offering. I'm just saying, Sometimes we have to turn to something that we're not used to turning to. And I don't think Martell used to go in church or talking about God, because I don't really hear him say that. Now, people quote a lot of God scriptures on their pages, God give me strength to get through the day, all that. But no, baby, you have to really understand it and live it. I ain't saying God turns his back on you, you know, but he'll come when you call. May not be there on time, but he'll get there. But you got to put that first foot forward. All right. With that being said, hopefully next week is better. I know this was a triggering episode for a lot of people. It seemed like it was a little toxic. Again, I found it a little bit amusing, and not that what he was saying about Tisha, because I don't believe that. And if she did it, like I said, I don't care. Who cares? Shoot, there's a whole bunch of people who was a little bit. I mean, they had a whole Freaknik back in '95. A bunch of people was doing some stuff they wasn't supposed to been doing. But you grow up and you learn. Okay, um, Marceau, God bless you for having the strength that you did to not punch him in the nose, really. But I say all that to say, the real Martell has finally surfaced, and everything that lady told y'all, Miss Melanie, about him, you're finally seeing for yourself. Now you understand why the quote millimeters were started, because she was living with this crazy dude and didn't have any support group and her friends to lean on, had to really endure it with her outside friends, because she didn't have no friends on the show, with her outside friends and prayer and strength through her mom. And she made it through. She made it through. But you guys felt, oh, Melanie's are old, washed up women, over 40, which some of y'all ain't that far from them, that are miserable and all that. Melanie's ain't miserable. You can call me a Melanie. I don't care. I'm not miserable. I live a very happy life. Okay? I'm good to go. I'll be up tomorrow 6 o'clock morning going to my workout class. I am good to go. I have stuff to do. You know, family, friends, travel. We're not miserable, but we lived enough life to understand that lady needed support at the worst time in her life, and nobody was there for her. And we know what that feels like, because at some point in all our lives, we needed support. And if some of us may have had the support we need and some of us didn't, but we understood what it was like to need somebody to be there. And if you walked in that door with nobody there, that's a hurt feeling. All right. With that being said, again, everything I said in this commentary is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Please, if you like my commentary, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Please like my channel. I'm not asking you for any money. I'm still new to this. I'm going on my second month. I'm loving making videos. I don't have time to make a lot of videos. I put them out when I can. But please, like and subscribe. You can share. I don't care. Okay? But I do think some people do be listening, because sometimes I might be hearing some stuff that I said or may have similar to what I said. And I guess great minds think alike. Who knows? But I'm a small channel, so I can never prove that. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Um, be safe out there. It's starting to get chilly. Enjoy your families during this holiday season, and make sure we don't overextend ourselves with alcohol, celebrating, and things like that, because we want everybody to make it through 2024, get through 2025 safely. All right, with that being said, Gen X Nation is out, and we'll see you on the next round. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.